Coming up in this episode of KMOS Presents Missouri Life, we're on the road to Lexington, Missouri, where we'll visit a Civil War battlefield, make memories in a blackberry patch, and slap iron with some outlaws. KMOS Presents Missouri Life. Let's discover. Funding for KMOS Presents Missouri Life is provided by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you. Lexington was founded in 1822, just along the route for William Jack's Ferry, on a hill overlooking the Missouri River. Lexington became famous early on as the site of the largest Civil War battle in the Western Campaign, the Battle of Lexington. Best known prior to the war as the headquarters for the All Brothers chain of frontier stores, Lexington was also a launching point for travelers on the Oregon Trail, the Santa Fe, and California trails.
Say, do you know the way to San Jose?
A trio of businessmen would also set up shop on Lexington's Main Street, moving more than 3,500 wagons of goods throughout the West. The firm, Russell, Majors, and Waddell, went on to form the Pony Express. After the Civil War ended, Southern supporting rebels continued to fight in the area around Lexington, many of whom finally decided to surrender about 2 months after the war ended. But while riding in to surrender, reportedly under a white flag, some of the raiders were shot by the 2nd Wisconsin Cavalry, including a young guy named Jesse James. In the post-war era, times changed and river commerce was supplanted by the railroad, and many of those railroads skipped Lexington and instead went through Kansas City, lessening Lexington's influence on trade routes. Today, visitors to Lexington can visit the battle site and see a pre-Civil War Greek Revival home that also served as a hospital during the battle. They can stroll downtown and see Lexington's transformation into a 21st century tourist site, and you can see a cannonball still tucked right into the courthouse. Now let's discover a farm that's been in the area since 1947. The Farmeyers have been in central Missouri since then, and they've recently expanded to grapes and wine production, produce, and now you can get in the patch too.
We've been involved in the local food business for over 10 years now, and one of the things that we've noticed is that people want to be connected to their farm. They want to be connected to the food that's being grown. We view ourselves as being in the health and wellness business, which sounds kind of funny when, being a farmer, but we really believe in creating a family environment and atmosphere where people can come and actually have an on-farm experience and go home with not only, memories, but also with really great homegrown foods. So, in building the business and creating a need and creating a chain, a niche, we have a 3-year-old little boy, and we want all the other 3-year-old kids and younger kids in the area to have the same experience that we give our son on a day-to-day basis. We're open roughly about 6 months out of the year. In the springtime, we open with spring vegetables that are homegrown on our farm, along with our strawberries. And then from strawberry season, we lead right into blackberries. Along with that, you can get our homegrown sweet corn, tomatoes, all your summer staples, melons, and then we'll move directly into fall crops with our U-Pick pumpkin patch, corn maze, children's activities, petting zoo. Basically, we want to be a one-stop shop for all of our surrounding communities. Health and wellness is huge for us. For example, we host yoga classes here. We do farm table dinners. Anything that we can do to continue to engage our customers so that they get to understand where food comes from, and also gain some health benefit out of it as well. We practice a method that we like to call thoughtful agriculture, which to us is just a blended method between using organics and some conventional methods. When it comes down to it, we want to do what's right for our family and for our consumers too.
Oh, okay. This fall. And then we have pumpkin patch. Oh, do you? Corn maze.
Nothing makes us happier than having groups of families and local community members out and enjoying our space, our little corner of the world. We call it our slice of paradise. Whether they're out picking pumpkins, whether they're picking berries, whether you've got kids in the barn trying cherry tomatoes for the first time, we want to be a place that creates memories.
Now we're here at Big Muddy Ice Cream Company, where they offer more than just ice cream. They have donuts, cinnamon rolls. In the winter, they offer soup and hot dogs. And of course, year-round, they have their wonderful coffee. Let's check it out.
Shop's about a year old. Started one summer day when I decided that there was nowhere in Lexington to get a hand-dipped ice cream cone. So I talked to my wife and said I'd like to take a few months off and open an ice cream shop. And went out and found the vendors and all the suppliers, and lo and behold, here we have an ice cream shop. We've really tried to make it a local shop, and when I say local, I mean a place that locals feel comfortable as well as tourists. A lot of times you go to a tourist town and you've got the shop that has high-priced items, and it really kind of closes the locals out. Here we've tried to be very inclusive, and it's been great. The community has been overwhelmingly supportive. We harass you the minute you walk through the door. We tend to know what flavor ice cream you want, what you like in your coffee. So we really tried to make it a hometown spot. We serve Belfonte ice cream. Like I said, that's out of Kansas City. It's as close to hometown as you can get. We bake cinnamon rolls here in the morning. We do cookies and donuts and any sugary goodness we try to put on the menu. And then we combine all of that as well. So our signature dish, the Big Muddy, is a warm cinnamon roll with vanilla ice cream and gobs of hot caramel. So then we have the Keel Boat, which is basically a banana split with a Long John donut instead of a banana.
We sat down with some regulars who just so happened to have a cone of their very own.
Well, he decided to go with the green because it's kind of our signature color. And then he put a Reese's peanut butter cup down at the bottom, so it's kind of like a seek and search thing, but it's delicious, really delicious. It's just a good place. I mean, it's not only is it great ice cream, but Chip's such a nice guy, and he employs local talent here in the city, so it's a really good place, really good place.
Everybody's grown up with an ice cream shop in town, and when I say ice cream, I mean the kind where the person's scooping the ice cream out of the 3-gallon bucket, putting it on the cone. There wasn't one of those here in Lexington. We have a number of places that serve soft serve, whether it's McDonald's or Made Right, and they're both very good, but there was nowhere to get an actual hand-scooped ice cream cone, which you get a hankering for during the summer and the spring, even the winter. So I looked into what it took to open a shop. This is how we ended up with an ice cream shop in Lexington.
For more information, you can visit bigmuddyicecream.com.
Okay, we're here with Elodia Miller, who is a tour guide here. And Elodia, tell us a little bit about the history of the building that we see behind us here.
Well, there was a Civil War battle that was fought here in 1861. The original owner came from Kentucky, and he bought the property and started building his home in 1851. And he had many slaves, and the slaves actually made all the bricks on the outside wall. It did suffer a lot of battle scars, and you'll see them as you go through the house, and you actually can put your fingers on the bullet holes that took place during the Civil War.
So during the course of the battle here, what purpose did this building serve? What happened here?
The Union soldiers came and actually took it, wanted to use it as a hospital, and this was before the Civil War took place. And actually, they more or less kind of escorted the family out that was living here. And because back then when the soldiers came, you got scared and they took their belongings and never did return.
So for folks that maybe don't have any background in this, talk a little bit about what a Civil War era hospital might have been like? What kind of things happened here, and what was the medicine like then?
Well, it was not a place that you wanted to be in today because they had no antibiotics to kill the infection. Many of the soldiers died from gangrene because of the fact that they had no antibiotics. And they didn't have anything to put you to sleep either when they were going to amputate your leg or your arm. So they actually used whiskey and a bullet to bite on. So they would try to make them comfortable. But of course, that's not a way that you'd want to be in a hospital today.
You know, one of the things that I have had other folks around this area tell me is, you know, I'm from Ohio originally, and what we were always taught in history class was Missouri was neutral. And then the folks that I've talked to here said, well, not exactly, that it was sort of split in half, and there was a lot of battles and a lot of fighting that went on in this state.
Yes, Missouri was a divided state. Some believed in slavery and some did not. So a lot of the soldiers on the southern side, they weren't soldiers, they were civilians. They came from the surrounding areas to fight the cause.
So the building itself has survived, and a lot of buildings from this era didn't survive. How fortunate is that? What do we attribute the longevity of this building to?
Well, I believe Mr. Anderson, the original owner, he wanted his house to be very sturdy, so he not only put 1 layer of bricks, but 3 layers of bricks. And that's probably one of the reasons why it's still standing today, because it did suffer a lot of battle scars during the Civil War battle, and you'll be able to see them as you go throughout the house. The Union side probably put a lot of the battle scars on the walls because the majority of the battle scars are on the other side of the house. And the Union sides, they were fighting from the east. So when they were shooting, the bullets were being embedded in the brick. And you'll be able to see the 3 layers of bricks through some of the battle scars. And also they fired 2 cannons. One of the cannons, they were trying to hit the Southern soldiers' headquarters, which was set up pretty close to the courthouse. But they missed, and it hit one of the columns in the courthouse square. It's still there today.
Now let's discover a place where you can ride through history, an equine escape where historical reenactors hit the trails with you, some of the most patient horses and guides that you'll ever meet. It's all at the Big River Ranch just outside Lexington along the Missouri River.
Basically what we did, we met out here. The gentleman that owns all this land, his name is Kenny Welch from Lexington, Missouri. And I had got wind that there was a facility that they tried to start out here back then, and approached Kenny about possibly getting the opportunity to kickstart it, get it reopened, and turn it into a viable business. So we started about 2006 and started the project and started working on it, and it's just been an evolution ever since then up to the present. But our goal here was to create an equine facility that would not only encompass just trail riding, but all aspects of events, rodeos, shows, fun shows. We do weddings, birthday parties, reunions, but give people a place to come back to in the country and relax, get back to nature, enjoy their families, and hopefully not have to break the budget and the family budget to come out and enjoy themselves and their horses.
We take people out and get on these trails. There's 2,100 acres here. There's about 50 miles of trail, and it'll pretty much offer you any type of terrain that you want to get on, whether it's a wide open wagon road or some really skinny mountain type trails. The bluffs are very hilly, so there's a little bit of excitement for just about anybody that wants to come out. We give a class prior to every ride we do. It takes about 45 minutes, and I'll cover all the basics of horsemanship. This class has been developed through the years of basically watching the mistakes that folks make when they crawl on a horse, and trying to give them the heads up before they get out there in the trail and do some of the silly stuff that folks can do. A lot of it also is basic horsemanship. It's just toes in the stirrups, heels down, feet forward, lean back, enjoy your ride. Balance, it's all about balance. A lot of people think it's about how tight you can hold on to the horse, and the truth of the matter is, if you hold on really tight, you're not going to ride very far, probably at all. It's kind of like riding a bike in that regard. you keep your balance, you can ride forever. If you don't and you just try and hold on, you're gonna spill. The reenactments are pretty spectacular. I mean, it's something that I fell into when I started coming out here with Robbie. I mean, Robbie Maupin is the reenactor extraordinaire. This guy knows his stuff when it comes to reenactments. He's very well respected in the reenactment community. I can't say enough about Robbie.
We love reenacting. We love recreating history, telling the stories of our history here in America and keeping it alive, educating people and the public about what our history and how our country was formed and built, and the outlaws in the area. This is one of the prominent areas for not only the Civil War, but the early outlaw era with the James Gang, and this was the flashpoint for the Civil War, where it began here in 1856. So we like to recreate that, and we do it to the best of our ability, as accurate as possible, down to our horses, our tack, our guns, our clothing, everything that you see us use. We do shows here on the ranch from time to time. We love to travel around. We do outlaw days over at Richmond, Missouri. We've done Harrisonville. We like to recreate old bank robberies, gunfighter shows, stuff like that we do, and to entertain the crowds and educate the crowds on the history of our country and our local area. It takes a lot of research, takes a lot of dedication, but and we research everything down to the boots, the spurs, the tack on the horses, the guns they carried, the period guns, the pieces we use, the clothing, the hats, the scarves, just the look in general. You'll see a wide range of looks because a lot of these guys were youngsters. Some of them were, middle-aged, some of them were older, and we try to mesh all that together to give everybody a really good look and a really good variety of what an outlaw gang would have looked like back then, and what people from that period, from the ladies, the children, and everybody involved would have looked like back in that period of time. And it really takes a lot of dedication and finding the right group of people that can work together, act together, and play off of each other, and make it as lifelike as possible, so that when we're entertaining crowds and educating, they get a real feel for what it was like back then. We try to make it look like we just stepped off the pages of history, like we just walked off the history books and come to life and make it happen.
I'd rather get them rabbits.
Hey there in the camp! Got our cattle!
Hold up, boys. What do you say? You better stop right there where you're at. You women, get around back behind the shack. Go on. Go on.
There's two ways.
Van out, boys. Come on, get up here. Van out.
Back to town tonight.
You better not come into camp. Don't come any farther.
We're the law.
You'll be taking your dead. We don't cotton no law around here. Big feller.
We don't cotton no cattle thieving.
We didn't steal no cattle.
Those are our cattle.
Yep. Well, what makes you think they're yours?
Y'all
just better go on now.
Get on out here, boys.
Get out of here. That's enough talking!
Get out of here.
It's the history. It's getting to live the history and ride into towns and rob banks and be riding with a group of individuals that share that passion, but can ride. And I mean, these guys, man, they can ride, and they look great too.
Looks like a fine day's work. Where's them cows at? They ain't scattered too far, did they?
But it's just, it's the camaraderie, it's the history, it's the panache. It's fantastic.
I'm really proud of the group of people I have that I get to work with. I consider them to be the best group of people as far as reenacting and recreating history. They're completely dedicated, and they go out they go out of the way to do things accurately and right, and I'm extremely proud to be associated with them. They're all good friends of mine. They're like family, and that's just something I'm really proud of, to be able to have a group of people around you like that, not only helping me here at the ranch, but when we go out to reenact, to be associated with them is something I'm really proud of.
You come out here as a customer, you'll leave as a friend, and when you do, you'll have some memories that you're not going to forget anytime soon.
When you visit Lexington, you'll find no better cheerleader than its mayor, Jerry Brown. Although he isn't a native to this area, he and his wife take great pride in their adopted hometown.
I'm a military veteran. I was stationed at Whiteman Air Force Base. I was a commander there several years ago. And as I moved from retirement into another active life, I was involved with Central Methodist University in Fayette, Missouri. Out of that, I had the opportunity to be involved with Kemper Military Academy. From there, an opening came over at Wentworth, so I became the president superintendent of Wentworth Military Academy. And my wife moved here with me, obviously. She has business here in town. She operates a business. So consequently, this became our home, and we've enjoyed it ever since. We basically feel like we're Missourians. When I moved originally to Lexington as a family, we moved in, the people embraced us. They were very congenial. There was a great hospitality about our town, and consequently we felt warm, we felt wanted, and therefore our transition from one place to another was seamless, if you will.
And despite moving to one of the most history-rich regions of the state, Mayor Brown wasn't aware of just how much his city had to offer history buffs until he arrived.
Well, to be very candid with you, I was not a history buff, and I don't know that I am today. But what I have learned in life, one of those life features, if you will, is that the longer you live, the more you see the value of history in decision-making and in the process of life. So consequently, this was just a natural to fall into. And now I keep, if you will, preaching to our grandchildren, you need to study your history. There's great value in it. In the case of Lexington, it has an enormous amount of history dating way back to 1822 when the city was formed. We moved from one county seat to another county seat located within the city limits, and it's just boundless. We have the state park, we have all kinds of Civil War memorabilia, if you will. We have a massive tourist traffic that come here because they like the opportunities to see our historic museum, to see the state site, as well as to visit with our people and view the other amenities within our town. You walk up and down the streets and there's legends galore. That's why I call it Legendary Lexington.
In an effort to promote and foster community and economic development through the arts, the city, the University of Missouri, and the MU Extension Office have all teamed up to develop a walking and driving tour of historic Lexington.
And consequently, we have now a walking tour that you can either drive or walk, and it gives you the history of every place that we direct you to go. The homes, the old homes tours, and things like that, as well as the various parks, the recreation, as well as downtown with the commercial area. We believe those will bring more tourism. We believe those will bring more permanent residents, and we believe that'll help our town continue to move in the right direction.
In addition to celebrating its history, the city of Lexington is also working very hard to update its infrastructure, making it desirable as both a tourist destination and a place to live.
I think our town has so many beautiful features that all of us many times just don't realize the quality that we have in our town. So we have the things that people look for. And number one is they're raising a family. Number two is they consider retirement. And we welcome everybody and anybody that wants to come and be a part of our community, because it's a wonderful, just absolutely outstanding hospitality as a community.
Funding for KMOS Presents Missouri Life is provided by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.